If you're a heat nursing technician or even a salesperson, what is one of the biggest lies when it comes to leads in the office? And why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Sylvan Bell, coming to you live from Haleiwa, Oahu, on a perfect day to talk about sales and business and a fantastic day to talk about you. Today, we are going to talk about sales. So I want to let you know from the very beginning, you have to understand the rules in your office and how it really works. Not what is said, but how it really works. And there's a couple of examples that I'm going to go through with you, and they are going to be super importante. So in your business, when you got hired, you were probably told, hey, there's a pecking order. We buy the leads. We pay for the leads so we can give them out however we want. And that's true, and that's cool, fine. No big deal. There's nothing wrong with that. So they tell you, hey, there's a pecking order, 1 through 7, 1 through 10. And the way that it works is the first dude who's at the highest is going to get the first lead. The next dude or chick who's at the second place is going to get the next lead. The third dude or chick is going to get the third. And there's a modified version of this too. The modified version is if we're going to give somebody 3 leads a day, the first person's going to get 3, the second person's going to get 3. And if you're down here at the bottom and there's no leads to give, you get a big goose egg for the day. Okay, cool. No problem. If that's true and I am told those things, that is what I can live up to, right? So only thing I'm asking is like, hey, if that's the truth and that's what we're going to do today, no problem. Now, there is a number that's bantered about in the in-home services that says that on average, if you could fog a mirror, you're going to close at 33%, right? You're drawing 33%. If you can fog a mirror, you can close at 33%. Okay, that's the number that's bantered about in the in-home services. Now, all things aside, if those leads are being distributed and there's no shenanigans, that's probably true. Where my struggle is with the industry is where people will come and they'll say, hey, dude, hey, chick, we'd love for you to come work for XYZ company, and here's our pecking order. It's 1 through 7, right? 1 through 7. Okay, cool. What's tough is when the company really decides to use the timeshare model, which I will get to. If you're brand new, you should join HVACTechSecrets.com. I'll give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel, which means private coaching, private training, discounted coaching, discounted trading. It's an email publication. You get emails from me. Enough said. Okay, so the reason I bring this up is there are times where you go to work for a company and you're like, hey, sales manager, sales dude, business owner, person, how does it work here? And they go, oh, we use, whoever's closing gets the first lead. Well, in all realities, those leads are scrubbed. So the first person is going to get the best of the best leads, and then they're going to cycle down. So a couple years ago, the timeshare industry said, hey, look, we're gonna evaluate and see what we could do to make ourselves more profitable and have people close more deals. And so what they did was they went to the top sales guy and they said, we are going to give you the best of the best leads. We're going to give you the perfect setup. And that dude went from like a $300,000 a year income to, let's say, $3.5 million. And so they instituted this all around the country to say, if you're the top dog in the room, then you are going to be the dude or the chick that's going to get all the leads. Cool. Now, if that's disclosed, no problem. No problem. Tell the truth. But I'm going to share something with you. There's probably going to be a time where you go in for an interview and you're like, hey, can you help me out and tell me what the lead practice or the lead flow is? Are we doing 1 through 7? Are we doing a straight run? Are we doing the hot hand where the person who's got the absolute best of the best leads is going to be the person up front and they're going to get loaded down? And then because I'm brand new, I'm going to be thrown into the rotation. And, because of that, I'm going to have the toughest and hardest leads. You as a salesperson should absolutely be asking these questions. Give me an example, share with me, is there ever a time? These are all questions that you absolutely 100% should be asking, because here's what happens. The spring hiring scam for salespeople is this. We're going to bring as many people on as we can to get this fulfilled. We're going to smash the numbers. We're going to bring people in, and then what ends up happening is you're thrown at the bottom of the rotation and you're fed scraps, and they are the hardest of the most difficult leads. Cool. I can live with that as long as I know that that's what I'm getting into. Okay. So the last part of this video is going to be, hey, understand that if you're living in the tough situation where the first person gets, you know, 70% of the leads. If 70% of the leads go to the top dog and the other 30 are distributed, the other 30, you got my upside down pie. The other 30 are distributed through the rest of the company and you're fighting for whatever the bottom of the barrel is, you got to get good at closing those deals. And then, so here's the other thing. If you're going to close those deals, they're going to be skinny deals. There's not going to be a ton of commission on them. There's going to probably be minis, right? If your company says, we'll pay you 2, 3, 4, 500, whatever the magic number is for you closing that deal, you're going to be closing a lot of minis. And so here is the truth. It's hard. It's a lot of freaking work. It's nerve-wracking. And in an industry like that, the people around you may try to sabotage you. When you're in an industry like that, it really comes down to a fight. I have seen multiple bad instances of people doing horrible things when they're in that type of rotation. I have seen instances personally, where dispatchers and lead setters, whatever you want to call them, are getting paid under the table to push somebody else down further. So the salesperson is like, hey, I really need your help here. If I don't bribe you, then my leads are going to suffer. I have seen managers do this. Managers get kickbacks, right? I have seen a hybrid version of where people take the lead scores, right? And then they mix them with revenue, and then they mix them with profitability. So I have seen where lead installers are told, screw up this job on purpose, right? I have seen where managers have gone into dispatchers and said, we don't like this dude and we don't like this chick, and we know that this dude or this chick is in position number 3 or 4. Give them number 7's leads and switch number 7's to number 4. Now, if those games are happening, you have some decisions to make, right? If it's middle of summer, go find somewhere else. Somewhere else is going to love you. But ask a lot of questions about how deal flow, lead flow is distributed, because at the end of the day, if this company is not willing to be honest with you, is it a place that you really want to work? Lastly, make sure that you are getting referrals. Make sure that you are doing what you can to find your own leads. You might have to knock on doors, right? So the way that you move up faster, right? And if this was me today, I would go to the boss and I'd say, hey, look, here's the thing. If I find my own leads, I want them to have a higher weight, right? So if one lead that comes from you is worth 1 percentage point in the bucket, I want to know that if I get my own leads, they're worth 1.25. I want to know that they have a higher percentage. Why is that? Because if you could close a couple extra of those leads, you can move up faster in the rotation, right? And at the end of the day, if you know how to get your own leads, you're not stuck waiting for mommy and daddy to hand you a lead for you to go on, for you to run, for these games to be played. I really wish, at the end of the day, more business owners and more managers were truthful with the salespeople instead of saying, here's the way that we run. And very, very last on this list, and owners and managers may not like me for this, close the deal, right? If you're at the bottom, if you're in spot 5, 6, or 7, and there's 7 people on the team, I'm going to tell you something. The rules, whatever they told you, probably aren't true. Because if the only thing that matters is closing rate, the only thing that matters, and it's not valuation of the job, and it's not the amount of revenue that's brought in per lead, the only thing that matters is closing rate, close everything you can, right? Take the heat for doing it wrong so you can move up in position. And if you're an owner or manager, you're like, Scott, did you really just say that? And like, you got part of a broken system. Closing rate doesn't always prove that the job is profitable, right? So I really want you to think about that. Closing rate doesn't mean that the job was profitable. Closing rate means that the job was sold. I have seen salespeople have amazing closing rates, and every job that they sell is worth 0. It's actually worth negative because they sell so cheap. So are there reasons why this is broken? Absolutely. You got one of 3 things to do from here. Just one of 3. Find the subscribe button. Click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, you know what you got to do. Share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.